Welcome to Varsity House Podcast. On this episode, we have Khalid Kareem, defensive end, Indianapolis Colts, former Notre Dame Fighting Irish from Detroit, Michigan. I'm your host, Sean Crawford. To my right is co-host Elliot, and we're at Lyrical Lemonade in Chicago. Amazing episode for you. Let's rock. I think we're gonna have some interesting interesting topics for sure. Starting with, you're someone who loves the ocean, and I bring that up just because you have a whole full leg sleeve, having to deal with the ocean. But also, I also got news that you're going to LA in the future, a couple weeks or something to get another tattoo.
Like 2 weeks, yeah.
I feel like an interesting conversation could be tattoos. Obviously, like a lot of people, have them, but they also are meaningful to, a person who has them. So kind of touch on, your tattoo experience and what meanings is behind it.
All right. Man, I sat for 50 hours. So I did 5 10-hour sessions. I flew out to LA, getting a tattoo. I always knew I wanted a tattoo. At first I wanted a chest and arm sleeve. Didn't really know what I wanted. And then I was like, I want to do a leg sleeve. Still didn't know what I wanted. But then I was like, okay, I want to do some shark stuff like that. So I've been looking up stuff on, Instagram, Pinterest, all stuff like that. And then I had a guy who was going to do it, but he never got back to me. I hit him on Instagram like, hey, bro, I'm ready to get to work, blah, blah, blah. Send my dates. He's like, okay, let's get to work. Never responded. He's like, all right, but you need a deposit. I asked my brother, I was like, what should I do? He's like, usually when you send money, people start responding. I'm like, I ain't about to just send buddy no money. I don't even know how much the tattoo gonna be. So I'm like, no, bump it. So just searching on Instagram, I found a tattoo shop out in LA. They do some crazy work. I think they did Uzi's tattoo, Dirk's, a bunch of dudes like LeBron. I'm like, okay, obviously they do some good stuff. I trust them. Hit them up with the little questionnaire thing. They shot back to me within 24 hours. Had a consultation with them, and I had my appointment booked 2 weeks later. And so flew out to LA, got my first 2 sessions done on the outside, got the sharks, and then the pirate ship with the Kraken, and then I actually got my pendant on the pirate ship as well. So I got that done, and they're like, all right, you're good. I was like, nah, I want to do the whole entire leg. They're like, oh shoot. So came back a month later and got the rest done. So in total 50 hours, got what I have, sea turtles, clownfish, and then on the inside of my leg, I have a humpback whale. The back of it is like a lighthouse. On my knee, the knee was probably the worst part about it. I got 2 jellyfish on the knee, but he really couldn't even go as detailed as he wanted because it hurt so bad. But I'm going back out there next weekend to get my other leg done. So I'm going to have him touch up the knee. I'm going to fight through it. But this one I'm going to get, my boy has a brand called Free Atlas. I've been my best friend since elementary school, literally since 1st grade. And the principle of it is Atlas, I guess he was I don't want to mess it up he was around during the Greek time periods. And Achilles, that time period. And he was, I guess, punished, and so he had to hold up the weight of the earth, on his shoulders. He couldn't let it go. So the whole purpose of the tattoo is, drop the world. I'm gonna have that right above my knee, then actually the Atlas statue, but holding the Eye of Agamotto because I love Doctor Strange, and so just kind of tie it in because he was a sorcerer in the Earth realm, and that was what he used. So the amulet that Doctor Strange wears, that's what I'm gonna have, but Atlas holding up instead of the world. But for me, it's more so to drop all the pressures and stuff that's on my mind and what I deal with on a daily. So just drop it and just be me. So that's my next tattoo.
Where does his love for the ocean come from?
It's going to sound real generic, but Blue Planet. I spend a lot of time watching Netflix. Whole lot of time watching Netflix, bored, and so just turn on Blue Planet, a bunch of different documentaries. I mean, when I was a kid, elementary school, we also had to do projects on different animals. I used to always choose dolphins, sharks, whales, stuff like that. But I never really saw a career in it. It was just always something I liked. I didn't know I could actually be a marine biologist until I got to school. I actually had a conservation biology class. I absolutely hated it. It was my first semester of school. Graduated high school early. They just threw me in a class hey, try this out. And out of the 5 early enrollees that were in that class, I was the only one that stuck it out. and like I probably shouldn't have because like I fell asleep every single day. I'm talking like I had a sleeping problem also. Like it was undiagnosed, but like it was like narcolepsy. Like when you just fall asleep, like I legit used to have conversation. Like as soon as I stopped talking, I would just like KO and then wake right back up. And so I missed most of what was going on in class, but the class was so boring, man. It wasn't even on the water; it was on the national park system and trees. So we just sitting there watching videos on trees. I'm like, I'm good. But when I found out I wanted to like be a conservation biologist was legit 2 weeks after I left school. Was training for the combine down in Pensacola, Florida. I had a condo out there, literally right on the beach. Like literally open up the windows and you're looking at the Gulf of Mexico. Literally would see dolphins going by every morning. I was like, you know what? I know what I want to do. I was in bed, just got out of surgery, couldn't do much. So I was, again, watching Blue Planet. I was like, you know what? Football is my passion. But I'm like, I feel like my calling is to truly like help the earth and the oceans. So I'm beginning to now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Two things. Submarine, that's obviously a hot topic. If you were someone in the submarine and you went and you chose to, go down there, you loving the ocean, what animal would you have wanted to see when you were down there?
All right, so my dream animal that like I want to swim with, like this is like my goal, my real life goal. I want to swim with orcas and I want to swim with great whites. Like, but I want to be in the water. Like I want to free dive with great whites. Probably gonna be really tough to do, but like I at least want to start off in the cage. But I want to get in the water with them.
Nah, stay in the cage, bro.
Yeah,
Stay in the cage.
what?
I want to go. So I want to go to New Zealand, South Africa, and Australia to see them. Like I don't want to do none of that. Oh, come at the aquarium. Like no, I want to get in the wild.
I actually just saw on Instagram that orcas are teaching the young orcas how to ram into ships.
Yeah, how to sink boats. Orcas are some of the smartest creatures. Like I feel like us as humans, we don't give animals credit because we feel like we're the superior species. But like at the heart of it, like we're still like I don't even call us animals, but like we're animals at the end of the day who just progress to actually have social skills, but like they have their own way of thinking, communicating. So like, but they're so intelligent, man.
So what would you say you're on a boat, vacation, and you feeling ran by an orca? Are you like fascinated by it since you obviously love orcas, or are you scared? Because I see them like really flip boats.
Oh, yeah.
Like and it's like on purpose, and they just swim away.
Yeah, great whites too. You're talking about Australia. Doesn't Australia lead in the world in shark attacks?
Here's the thing, man. You're more likely to get struck by lightning twice than attacked by a shark.
Okay.
But
Man.
I mean, it happens. You gotta, it's like you walking in somebody's house that got a dog. Like you just gotta, like that's their home. You gotta respect it. Like the same way I walk in here, respect that this is your space. You gotta do that with them. Now, obviously, we can communicate if something going on. Hey, bro, chill out. But like, you just gotta read their body language. But that takes time and studying. So like, I say I want to do it, but like, I need to, actually understand sharks way more before I do that. Like, I've been in the water. I swam with oceanic white tips, black tips, Caribbean reef sharks, nurse sharks, lemon sharks. I did all that in Bahamas last year. I actually went out there and stayed at a shark lab. Like I stayed in a bunk bed. Literally, I don't know how I fit, but I fit in a bunk bed. I stayed there for a week, and it was just honestly some of the best time of my life.
This is actually fascinating.
No, this is actually wild because it's like everyone probably knows you just play football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the mass amount of time that you do, like half away from the field, you have a life.
Yeah.
And so I think this is definitely an interesting conversation. But talking about the sharks and everything, my second question about the submarine, what is your take on that? And what's like you said you want to swim with them, you want to go into a cage, but like you obviously know your limits.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm not spending $250,000 on a submarine, especially like if you actually did some research on that sub. They've had issues from day one. Like there's had communication issues, and electronic issues that hasn't been fixed, and some were fixed over time, like while they're in the water. But if I'm spending $250,000, I need security that nothing's going wrong. Like I need to be in the best ship possible. Like there's no way that I'm getting in a ship controlled by an Xbox controller. I'm good. Like I'm gonna need this to be military grade. Like the same protocols that they use. I need this. Like I'm not doing it. I mean, condolences to the families that people were lost, but I'm not doing all that. Like,
That's some rich person shit right there, bro. Pay 250 racks. They
Yes.
paid $1 million to like go do that. RP to them, like for real. But that's
Yeah.
some crazy shit. To
that's
do.
some FU money though. The fact you
Yeah.
can just spend, all right,
Yeah,
write a little check, you know,
Bro.
just to go down for what, a couple hours and then come back up.
It was longer. Than
I think the entire trip was supposed to be 9 hours.
Yeah, it was like 4 hours down and then like a few hours back up or something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't do that one. Like, there's some things I won't do, like scuba diving. I love scuba diving, that's what I do, but I will not go like cave diving.
Why?
It's so dangerous, so much stuff that can happen. It's like if you don't have a guideline while you're down there, so it's dark, there's no light, and there's a bunch of silt that's on the ground. If that gets in the air and you don't have a line, you have no idea where you're going at all. Like you know, from like up, down, left, right, you have no idea.
Yeah.
There's a story about a father and the son. They took a diving trip in a cave, you know, and they got lost. And your tank is typically around 3,000, 3,100 PSI. For me, that lasts me, depending on how deep I go. If you go, the deeper you go, the oxygen is compressed. So like, you know, the deeper you go in sea level, everything's like, you know, the pressure. And so you use up more air. So if I'm going deep, so the deepest I ever went diving was like 95 feet.
Whoa.
And I can't stay down that long because you just use up the air. But if you stay around like 30, 45, 50 feet, I can probably get 45 minutes out of it. So that father and son who got lost had no way of, you know, figuring out how to get back, had to sit there and basically just wait their death out. Like the father, like took a rock or something and carved out a note to his wife, like on the tank.
Jeez.
I'm like, I can never go cave diving. There's no way. And then it'd be small, bro. I'm too big.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I feel claustrophobic.
But what I did in Hawaii, I just got back from Hawaii this past weekend, and was actually able to jump out of a helicopter into the water. So
How's a helicopter?
I was, I think, 40, 45 feet.
Have you always been just like a what do they call those people?
A daredevil?
Yeah, daredevil.
Somewhat, but like my parents wouldn't let me do stuff. But now I'm like, I'm grown. I got a little money. I can do what I want to do. So yeah, I mean, they flew me around the helicopter, flew me around Hawaii, and then like brought us right above the boat, and was like, hey, like we'll take you to 60, 65 feet. I wanted to go there, but they're like, nah, like if something happens, we don't want to be like the reason why the NFL is coming back. Like, hey, he got hurt, so let's keep it about 40 feet. Man, it was exciting. Jumped out, clear blue water, and then went scuba diving from there.
That's
So it was
crazy.
cool.
So you jumped out in the full suit and everything?
So there's levels to it. So I think there's 3 levels, and so you have to spend like a certain amount of hours, a certain amount of dives. I think you have to get like 20, 25 dives before you can jump in with your actual suit on. So I had to jump in the water, then get to the boat, put my gear on, and then went scuba diving after that.
I got a homie who does skydiving, cliff diving, base jumping, all that stuff, and he feels the same way about the way you feel about scuba diving.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, man, like he told me all the stats and everything. And it's actually funny. Like I told myself I would never skydive and everything. We did a podcast. We ended up skydiving because he told me all the like stats and everything. I don't mess with the ocean at all. So like I would never. So like it ain't. You couldn't even convince me. Yeah, it ain't. You can't convince me. Skydiving and it's tandem. So like you jumping with, you know, some like not a pro, but like someone who's
experienced.
Right.
Yeah.
For you scuba diving, like is there any, you know, like it's not tandem, is it? Or
No,
like how does that?
I'm literally, I got my BCD on. I got my tank. I mean, you should always go with a dive partner. You should always dive within your training and your experience. So I had like, I won't say like an emergency situation, but this past, right before I got my tattoo, like the day before, me and my boy Randy, I've been knowing him since we were probably like 12. He's a wildlife biologist and field technician out in Mojave Desert in Nevada. So he was a junkie. He was on, he actually won a show on Discovery Channel for Shark Week. And so he got to experience, he got to go to that shark lab in the Bahamas. But nonetheless, we went out to Catalina, California, and we went diving. And the people, I don't think it was a janky, but like they just gave him the gear, like, go dive. Like it was a beach dive, so you walk in the water and then you go dive from there. So you didn't have to get on a boat or nothing. But when I got down there, I'm like, bro, like my PC, it's not fitting right. Like normally, there's a it's like, what do you call it, like a cummerbund? Like, it's supposed to fit like more so like on my waist, but it was like up in my chest. I'm like, this isn't it. Like, I'm weighted way too heavy, so you have to weight yourself so that you can be buoyant, so you can actually have some negative buoyancy. Because if you go in there with just a wetsuit, then you're gonna be positively buoyant. You're gonna float, and you want to be able to stay down. They put too much weight on me. They gave me, for reference, when I was in Hawaii.
This isn't funny, but
I went diving with 12 pounds. Out there, they gave me 26 pounds of extra weight.
Oh, wow.
And a thicker, but granted, it was a thicker wetsuit, so you had to compensate for that, but I was way too overweight. And so
that's the last place you want to be overweight.
No.
last place, bro. So like I said, you dive with about 3,000 PSI of gas. And so you're always supposed to start ending your dive around 1,000. Some people say 1,500 just to be safe, but typically 1,000. And so we're like 85 feet down. And I look down at my computer, my dive computer, and it shows you your consumption and how much you have left. That thing said 300. And we were 85 feet down and probably like 200 meters away from where we started from. And you can't talk to anybody, so it's me and my boy. And so he's in front of me. He's probably like 8 feet in front of me, 8 to 10 feet in front of me. You're always supposed to be in arm's reach, but like, you know what you're doing. You're not, nothing's going to happen. And so I'm like, yo, I started panicking. I'm like, I can't panic because I'm going to start using too much air. So I had a GoPro, and I had to reach back and like smack on the tank so it could make a sound so he could turn around and hear me. He looked at it. He was like, shoot. And so he gave me his secondary regulator. So I put that in. I had to calm down for a second. We had to swim up to the top, but even when you're ascending, like, you can't go fast. You're supposed to go, I think it's a meter per second, so you're supposed to slow kick, because if you go too fast, the nitrogen builds up in your bloodstream, and you can get the bends, and that leads to further medical issues. And so on our way up, we was going too fast. I'm like, so I had to communicate to him, like, just verbally, non-verbally, like, hey, bro, we got to slow down. So I'm panicking from me running out of air, and then I had to tell him, like, yo, like, we got to slow down. So it was kind of a little chaotic, but that was probably the closest, like,
That sounds
emergency
terrifying.
that I had.
Like, absolutely terrifying.
But then we went out there, like, an hour later after our service interval time. It was a way better dive. Took off half the weight, and it was a way better experience. So I know not to get 26 pounds of weight on me.
Sheesh.
I still can't wrap my head around that. So I wanted to ask you, obviously the NFL season is about to start.
Yep.
You're getting ready for that, to report back there for camp, preseason, all that stuff. Is what you're talking about the one thing that you have to do before, camp starts, before the season starts, or is it something else?
No, I have to dive. I have to get at least probably 4 or 5 dives in a year for me to just be like, I'm good. Like, I got 6 in this year, so I'm solid. I don't need any more. I mean, if there's other opportunities, I'm gonna take it. But as long as I can dive at least, like I said, 4 or 5 times a year, I'm good. I'm not worried too much about it.
Cool if we backtrack a little bit.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Your coaches are probably, but we can go back to it. But your coaches are probably your coaches and agent, they probably very excited that you just like stay on Midwest teams. Like being from Michigan.
I never left.
That's what I'm saying. Being from Michigan, Notre Dame, Cincinnati, and then now Indianapolis.
Yes.
Like, your agent's probably like, yeah, you can't go to Miami. You can't go to the Chargers. You can't. But touch on what you wanted to touch on.
So, where are you from originally?
I'm from right outside Detroit. Was born in Detroit, Henry Ford Hospital, then moved directly to the suburbs. So people always be like, where you from? And if I say Detroit, people look at me like, bro, shut up. No, you're not. Like, I'm born there. I lived there for probably like 5 years of my life, and then I was in the suburbs for the rest of my time.
What high school did you go to?
I went to 2 high schools. So I went to West Bloomfield High School for my freshman and part of my sophomore year. Transferred literally right after the football season. Then I went to Farmington Hills Harrison to end my career there.
What was the reason for the transfer?
I mean, I guess
Was it an athletic thing?
it was definitely athletic, but the way I had to tell the school, like, yeah, my family moved, but really it was football. I mean, they had me playing Mike linebacker my sophomore year. I was outside. I literally played every single linebacker position but my position as a defensive end. My coach was like, I've been doing this for years. I put guys in the league, blah, 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 in college. He's like, you could be a linebacker. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I know what I'm good at. The year before, it was JV ball, but still, I had like 18 sacks, like, as a freshman on JV. And to come up to the next level, They're like, no, we're moving you to linebacker. I'm like, why? Because that's what we think. And so I still got off. Still had, I think, 7 sacks. I think I was, top 15 in the state in tackles. But still, like, I was still successful, but it wasn't my position. And so then sophomore year, you start trying to get recruited by schools. I was sending my tape out. And they're like, we think you're good. Like, you have the size and frame to be a good defensive end, because that's what I was selling myself as. But they were like, we have no film of you playing defensive end. And I was like, oh, I got my JV film. They're like, we ain't looking at that. They're like, you're too slow for a linebacker, but you're perfect for an end. So, like, let's just see your next year, see what you look like. So then I transferred, and then rest of history. I think I had 17 sacks my junior year. Went to the state semis, lost by 1 point. Sick about that. And then my senior year, I think I had 16 sacks. All-American and all that stuff, and went to Notre Dame. And so,
You want to ask about the recruiting process?
I do want to ask about the recruiting process, but I also want to talk about West Bloomfield and what was the second school?
Farmington Hills, Harrison.
Farmington.
Yeah.
Any notable guys out of there?
So out of West Bloomfield, probably the biggest name is Matt Judon.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to the same high school. Obviously, he's older than me. There's a receiver at Minnesota right now named Tristan Jackson. That's my boy. We went middle school, high school together. Donovan Edwards. He's a running back in Michigan right now. He's blowing up.
Number 7, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been knowing him since he was in preschool. Like, we were the same elementary, middle school, high school. He went to that high school. I don't think there's really anyone else. I might be missing somebody, but, I mean, shoot, me. I went there. But Harrison, we put out some dogs, though. My coach is the most winningest coach in Michigan high school football history. Most state championship appearances, most state championship wins. Was the only coach at my high school, like, to ever coach there before they closed it down. But some notable names is probably Devin Funches, Mike Ojemudia. He's a corner for the Chicago Bears right now. What else? Drew Stanton. He was there. Mel Coleman. He was back in like the 80s and 90s. There's a couple other guys. They were older, but I think my high school won like 5 state championships back-to-back years. Like, they ran the 90s and 2000s. And then their district they couldn't afford to keep our school open. So
I was about to say, why'd it get closed down?
Literally just couldn't afford it. Even though we were a public school, it was, I think, 4 high schools in the district, and we were the newest high school. We were made in 1970, so the other ones were before that, and we were the most profitable, like, land area. And so they sold it back to the city for $500,000. They literally sold the school, the football fields, the baseball, softball,
the books,
everything back to the city for $500K, and then they turned into a community center. So I mean, it's good, but I'm like, we had the most history there out of any school in the district. Like, no other school are good at like sports at all. Like, you hear like Michigan football and say Harrison, like, people put some respect in your name. Like when I went to Notre Dame, the coaches knew like my coach. Like, they had a good relationship. So I'm like, this is the best place for me to be. So,
yeah, talk about, and then leading into that, the recruiting process. I went to St. Ed's in Lakewood, Ohio. We got a great history of football, and sort of like college, like Notre Dame, like the history speaks for itself, and like you already know that, like, if you're on the field, somebody's like a scout or a college or whatever is watching you. And so, kind of talk about your recruiting process. You obviously said you played linebacker, so it wasn't, or at the other school, and it wasn't, wasn't as good or wasn't as fast. And then junior year, you pop over to a new school and, start the ball. And so kind of talk about like some of your like first offers. Also, maybe that first coach that offered you after you heard like, you might be too slow at this position, you good at DM, but like when it first sit in, like kind of talk about that, whoever was the first to offer you.
So my recruiting process was slow at first. It was very slow. Didn't get my first offer until October. It was right before Halloween of my junior year. The biggest name, the biggest name at the time coming out of the state of Michigan was Dalen Hayes. So everybody was, Dalen Hayes this, Dalen Hayes that. Like, so that's my best friend, by the way. And I used to hate him in high school. He was so cocky, and we used to train in the same spot. But I was always kind of like chasing him almost because he was outside backer DN. And so like I said, it was really slow because the school was like, hey, we just want to send us your mid-season film, and we love you right now. We just want to see some film, and then we'll offer you. So I'm like, bet. I went to Michigan's camp. I went to Ohio State's camp, and I went to Michigan State. They all said the same thing. Send us your midseason, we'll offer you. Midseason come around, shoot my tapes out. I'm like, all right, it's coming. No offer. But I'm seeing them offer a bunch of other dudes. I'm like, what is it? Like, I literally sat next to, I think it was Brady Hope. And, like, literally he pulled me aside. Sit right here next to me. He's like, we're going to offer you. I was like, all right, bet. Offer never came. And so October rolled around. I get a call from the coach at Bowling Green State. It's a MAC school in Ohio. And he was like, we would love for you to come in here and play for us. I'm like, okay, cool. Hung up the phone. And so my dad was like, how was it? Like, did they offer you? I'm like, I don't think so. And so we had like a recruiting guy back home. His name is Coach Reggie Wins. He's a great guy. Helps a lot of guys get recruited. He actually helped facilitate that offer for me. So he was like, he called my dad. Was like, yo, did they offer him? He's like, Lid, did they offer you? I'm like, nah. He's like, what? Like they should have. So my dad made me call the coach back. I was like, hey, like, did you just offer me a scholarship? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, thank you. I appreciate it. So I got that offer, and it was kind of quiet for a minute. And then once I got offered by Northwestern, I went to their, I think, homecoming. I think they were playing, gosh, I forgot now. I think it was, I can't even remember who they were playing at the time. But once Northwestern offered me, it blew up. I was getting offers, like 2 offers a day for like a week straight. So I went from like no offers to 40 in the end. And so I just blew up. At one point, I was the #1 player in the state. From basically being a nobody knew me, to I can pick what school I wanted to go to. So people always tease me. Dalen always teased me. He's like, bro, like the amount of schools you committed to was crazy. So I went to a Michigan State basketball game. This is right before the Super Bowl. I think this is 2015. Went to Michigan State basketball. They were playing Michigan. I just loved the the energy, the crowd. I saw some of my boys because they went to school there. It's an hour away from home. So, what? I'm going to commit. I texted my dad the whole time because he was there with me. I was like, you know what? I love this school. I want to come. He's like, all right, bet. Tell coach. Pull coach aside. He's like, you know what? I'm going to come play here. He's like, all right, bet. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, I'm sure. And he kept asking. He's like, are you sure? I said, yes, I'm sure. So I committed. They posted all these tweets and stuff like that, pictures of us at the game, committed. Man, 2 days later, I decommitted.
Oh my God.
I was like,
not even a week?
Not even a week, bro.
The energy at the basketball game must have been crazy.
Bro, it was crazy.
Nah, it must have been crazy.
Because the Michigan State was big, especially during that time. I think that was right after Trey Burke and all them. So, like, it was still crazy. And so I fell in love with that. And coach was like, you know what? I kind of knew, like, you weren't, like, 100% serious. He's like, we still want you, obviously. So take your time. The offer will still be here. So, whenever you're ready, come on home. So I was like, all right, bet. In the back of my head, I'm like, I'm still going to Michigan State. Man, that Bama offer rolled in. Took a visit down there. I committed. I committed on ESPN. I was committed actually long term for 6 months until I actually drove down there with my family for the game against who was it? Ole Miss, the one with the ball bounced off Buddy. He caught it. There was Chad Kelly that year.
That was like Minka and all them.
Yeah, so that was my official visit.
Ole Miss won that game, right?
Was that Laquan Treadwell's year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was that game.
Out here.
Yep. So I went for that game, but it was
Bro, that drive's long. Because even from here, it's 15 hours from Chicago, and you're in Michigan, so that's...
It was 13, 14 hours, and we're in the back of my mom's, like, Chevy Traverse. I'm just like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And my dad was like, it's 5 of us. It's going to get really expensive for us to come see you all the time, I was like, I took that into account because I'm really close to my family, so I'm like, I would really want them to come to my games and be there supporting me. Or even if I want to come home or need something, I can, just shoot home. And being 13 hours away, that ain't good. So I always had a Notre Dame offer, and so I took a visit, 2015 against USC. Which game was that?
That one was crazy.
Yeah.
That was
2015
was Will Fuller started the game with a bomb over Adoree Jackson.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Crazy.
The stadium went crazy, and then we just balled that. And Juju was on the team. That was a really good USC team.
Exactly. It was a really good USC team and a really good Notre Dame team. And I'm like, you know what? I could really see myself playing here. Mike Elston, he was like, Lid, you can come in here and make an impact early. I'm like, once I heard that, I'm like, you know what? And I looked at the roster. I'm like, I really don't see anybody like just being honest. I'm like, I don't see nobody compete with me. So I went out there. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna commit. I actually stuck to that commitment, and obviously early enrolled at Notre Dame, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself while I was there.
Was there anything that now you talk about like the basketball game at Michigan State, the USC game at Notre Dame? What was the thing that got you to commit to like Alabama? Or was there anything that got you to commit to Alabama?
It was just the concept
name?
of Bama. Honestly,
Yeah.
just
How good they
win
were
it.
at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it was just, I like how they had an outside linebackers coach specifically. Like at that time, I had never seen it. Like for that position, there was only one coach. It was maybe 4 or 5 guys in that position, and that was the coach. I'm like, I like that, and I like what he like. You know how recruiting goes. They sell you a dream, and they sold me, and I was believing. And so I was like, you know what? It makes sense. I want to come here. I want to play. I'm like, I go to Bama. I'm gonna compete with the best people in practice, in the games. I'm gonna get exposure. I'm gonna win. So I'm like, this is the best bet. But like when it really came down to it, I honestly don't think I would be the person I am today if I went to Bama. And no knock to them, but I truly felt like I had some of the best growth going to Notre Dame. And I knew at the end of the day, if football didn't work out for some reason, I can fall back on that education in that community. It was going to take care
How
of
close is that drive, Notre Dame, to where you grew up?
Shoot, depending on how fast you're driving. it's probably typically a 3-hour drive, but you can make it in 2.5, 3 hours.
Not 13, 14?
Nah,
Yeah,
not
way
even
closer.
close. Like my parents honestly used to just make day trips to come down and see me. Like they came down for my 21st birthday. They drove down just to. I think my mom made like a little crab boil and some cake, and they were on the road and back home by 9 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
So it was perfect, honestly.
Love that.
What was that moment at Notre Dame where you came to that realization, like this is the place that I needed to be? Like outside of all just the hype and recruiting and all that stuff, like when you first realized, like, okay, like it's real here, is what people say is true.
That's a real life tough one. I mean, I had that moment click for me on the field my junior year against Michigan, first game of the season. I low-key snapped that game. I think I was National Defensive Player of the Week for that one. But that was that moment. I think early on, that's a tough one, man. I actually never thought about it like that.
It probably clicked after, because
It honestly did.
you could. I mean, it could be after, because for me, mine has been like on the field. It could have been Michigan State,
Okay.
like my junior year.
Yeah.
It could have been that game, but like
Spaz.
that's low key. I was doing some wild stuff. You know, like you ever get in that mode where it's just like I was guarding somebody, did a speed turn off of them, and then also deflect. It was crazy.
The fact he
But-
looked at me and said, "Have you ever been in that mode?" I did not go to the NFL.
Well, like it's some instances where it's just like if one thing happens good for you early on, and like you that guy
You
on
in
the
that
field,
mode, yes.
it's just like, bro, like you just start doing things, like you just reacting, and it's like there's no ounce of like tension in your body or
Yes.
anything, like your mind is moving free, and it's like if I want to like get over there in like one step, like I believe I can get over there in
Yes.
one step.
Like I'll say this, man. Like my sophomore year, it started real slow, but like so, I spent a lot of time early on the bench. I ain't gonna lie, I got little reps here and there, but like you were spazzing like early 2017 before you got hurt. Like you was doing like Boston College, Michigan State. Like you were going on. True, UNC.
Yeah, I felt like I was about to go to the league after that.
No,
just
like-
after that one, after that, just
I
like
didn't,
one
I didn't
year.
get to see you my freshman year because you got hurt again, didn't you?
So freshman year I didn't play. Sophomore year,
my 2016.
Yeah, I
my
played one
freshman.
game.
Exactly. I'm like,
I snapped in that one too.
exact Texas snaps. I'm like, and so to really get out there and see you play, I was like, he was a dog. Like I honestly, we were missing. Then he got hurt. I'm like, damn.
I didn't get hurt. I didn't get hurt that year,
2018.
2018.
Yes.
But
It was an elbow, right?
nah, knee, other ACL.
What was your elbow?
That was my 5th year, your senior year. A lot of injuries.
Yeah.
If you listen to the show, you kind of know the story. But we definitely got to get back to you. So
Yes.
when I say like it could have happened after, like realizing Notre Dame was special, it definitely happened for me. Like being in this, field media and like not playing and things like that, having more time to network and like using, because in college it was like, oh, I'm a football player. Like people know you. I don't really need to go to this college, or what's this, the job, or what's the career fair, career day?
Yeah.
I don't even know the name. That's how you know I didn't go to them. But those type of things I wish I went to when I was playing. But like now it's just like I tap into like LinkedIn. Like every week I just type in Notre Dame like sports or Notre Dame like business, Notre Dame media, just to find someone who's in that field from Notre Dame and just connect with him, and like if it's something there, we'll try to make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's why I say mine happened for me after, and yours could have happened for you after as well.
I would definitely say after then, just the people I've met, even just going back to games. Mick Asaph was a walk-on. Some people say he's annoying, but it's just his. That's just Mick. His personality is gonna bother you because he's in your face and he can let you know. Like if Mick makes a play, it's gonna be on Instagram that night. Like he's that kind of guy. But love him. But I went back to the game against UC. I think it was my second year in the league, and I went and I saw his parents, and like he just introduced me to like the senator from Delaware. I met the owner from the Atlanta Falcons, but it's just the people that I met from being in Notre Dame that I truly believe I would not have met them if I didn't go there. Just the environment and the professionals that you're around is incredible, man.
It's actually crazy. Like Taylor Swift brother went there.
Yeah, because she went back to a game. I think she's on.
Yeah, she's been to a Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
We've had some like famous people like at Notre Dame. Bon Jovi goes every year,
Yep.
which is pretty cool.
Jesse was my locker mate, sat right next to me. I thought that was kind of crazy. Yeah.
What was
Vince
Vince
Vaughn.
Yep.
So just some crazy people. But
What was your favorite game that you played in, or maybe favorite stadium to play in when you were in college?
Favorite stadium. I'd probably say the most craziest game, honestly, was Miami 2017. Like, that was turnover chain. That was like when turnover chain first started out. We were on our playoff run. I think we were number 3 in the country at that point. We were trying to make that push to get in the playoffs. I knew it was going to be a wild night. When we rolled in and they threw stuff at our bus and broke the window, I was like, okay, like this was about. And I remember walking through the tunnel before the game, and Miami, they were playing T Grizzly. And I was like, they ready. They ready. And I'm like, okay, this is about to be a fight. And when I tell you I couldn't hear you, if you were sitting right here next to me, I couldn't hear a conversation that was going on. I'm like, okay, this is the type of day it is. So then we wound up losing like 44-6, something like that.
Speaking of T Grizzly,
Yeah.
did you see his set at the Summer Smash this weekend?
I literally got there as he was ending. I walked in, and because it was a long line, I was waiting to get in, and he had just finished, so I missed him. But my first act I saw was G Herbo.
no dreads, T Grizzly.
Different.
I didn't see his set, but I saw how packed it was, and it was insane.
Cut the dreads off.
Yeah.
I like what he's doing now. He's like he plays GTA every single day.
He's
I
streaming
think.
on GTA is
I
insane.
think he's getting like real money from GTA or like
Bro,
streaming.
He's making tens and probably hundreds of thousands off of streaming right now. It's nuts. He does music for him at this point is like probably making him less money than streaming, but still his passion. But who are some of your favorite sets you saw this weekend?
Lil Uzi. That's the guy I've always said I wanted to see. I've been listening to him since 2015. Tribute Red was crazy. I knew like every song he played. Future, that was good. I've seen Future 3 times now, but that was probably one of my favorite performances. Playboy Cardi, his energy is just insane, man. So they'll probably say, and then Dirk was nice too.
Bro, I know I told you guys this already, but Playboy Cardi pulling up in a hearse to this stage is absolutely insane. A blacked out hearse pulling up to the stage before he goes on.
You got some big balls to do that.
Bro, that's a different type of
You're
dude.
wired different.
Yeah. Different type of dude. Anyways, back to football. What do you think? Transition?
Wait, I want to give my
bad.
favorite.
We'll cut that out. Ready?
I want.
No, those were all great. Sean, what were some of your favorite sets?
No. Dang, I probably should have thought about it since I wanted to talk about it. I'm trying to think. Kid Cudi, of course.
Sorry, really quick. For context, Sean missed Saturday because he was in a celebrity softball game in Cleveland. So he missed Saturday. But go ahead, cook.
Kid Cudi from Cleveland. His set, like, he was honestly like one of the biggest reasons why, like, I was like, I gotta come to this festival this year.
That's your first time seeing him?
First time seeing him,
nice.
And I just watched he has a documentary on Amazon, which is fire if you haven't seen it. And then he also has the Intergalactic on Netflix. And so I just like saw both of those for the first time like recently, and found like just like a new love for Kid Cudi. Like I think he produced and directed the Intergalactic animation, which is just like, if you haven't seen that one, really go watch that one.
Definitely worth the watch.
But and so I've just been like tapping in with him, like just even like crazier now, because some of his new stuff, the documentary points out like just the adversity he went through and just like his rebound and like him coming back. So I was like, all right, like now I rock. Before I just rocked with his music, and I rocked with him. He was from Cleveland, but now I like kind of know his story a little bit, and I really rock with him. So that set was unreal. I heard a new song. I never heard the song "Surfing" by him, and because I didn't really think he had like bops that you could like. But like when that came on, I was over here. I had cleared out like room to just like start dancing because now that's on my my go-to playlist now. So "Surfing" by Kid Cudi that was the first time I heard that, so that was fire. And then "Eem Trippin'."
Eem Triplin, yeah.
Triplin. That was the very first time I've ever heard of him.
Yeah.
My homie that I was with, they were like, we got to see him because I wanted to see somebody was on at the same time. It wasn't NLE because NLE just finished, but it was somebody on at the same time. But I was like, all right, whatever, I'll go to Eem Triplin. And when I got there, killed it. Yeah. Like the energy, jumping around, like he was fired. Like I had the Shazam, like his whole set list. I had it going, so I glad I went because I saw him, and then Didi Osama.
Bro, those
like
they
were back to back, and
Did you
so.
see Jaleel?
I've seen Jaleel.
Jalil's crazy.
I've seen Jaleel at their 10-year anniversary.
Okay.
So I already knew he was like I saw him, so I knew he was crazy. But that Eem Triplin and then Didi Osama back to back, like outside of like Kid Cudi and like all the the big people, but those two dudes killed it.
Eem and Didi are two of the last artists that I've interviewed over the last couple months. Eem, great dude, long conversation, 50 minutes. Didi, also a great dude, but doesn't give many words. Our interview was like 10 minutes, and like he didn't talk very much, but the interview got like 300,000 views, bro. His fan base is absolutely insane. Like, I didn't see his set this year, but I'm sure it was a bunch of like teenagers that were just losing their shit.
Crazy, and he was going crazy. Was he 15 or 16?
He's 16 or 17.
Okay.
He was actually like jumping off the stage, like performing in like the media section.
Yeah.
Like getting in front of the cage and everything, and it was just like 16-year-old girls like going crazy.
Yes.
And his energy up there was nonstop. Like he was running around, pulling his shirt off, like doing like the entire set. So like he got that kid energy. Yeah. So that's the fire part. It's just like coming to the festival and like seeing people that like I'm not like I would before the festival I would have never like typed in I didn't even know who Eem Triplin was, to be honest.
I still don't, to be honest.
So you gotta check him out though. You gotta check him out. He's fire. But going like just popping up and seeing people like that, I'm like, all right, like he's the truth. Or gonna be the truth.
Y'all were deep at the festival too. Did you link with the twins and Kyron and all them?
Yeah, it was probably like 8 or 9 of us.
Yeah.
Like, we were all just in the VIP area, just chilling. Like I walked in. As soon as I walked in, I'm just trying to. There's so many people. That's my first time ever going to a festival.
Really?
So I'm like, what's going on? Like I'm just trying to figure stuff out. And I see just Jason and Justin and Kyron walking. I'm like, yo, like. Okay, I see some people, but like, these are my guys. Like I played with, I think Jason and Justin for 2 or 3 years, and Kyron as well. So it was cool to see them. And then we went over to a little VIP platform, saw Cam, saw DJ, I saw Clarence Lewis, and then I think a couple other guys who came after me. But still go to Notre Dame, you still know the guys. But I'm like, it's really good just to be here in an environment that I'm not familiar with, people I know and I rock with, and we're just all having a good time. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Working a festival, probably didn't get to see a lot of performances, but the ones that you did see, what were some of your favorites?
I didn't see very many. I think the first day, the only one I saw was Kid Cudi. That one was great. The second day, who did I see? I saw Future. Future was great. Who was on before Future? I don't really remember. The last day is where I really got to tap in and watch a lot of people. Seeing Dirk was absolutely insane, like in the stadium portion of it. Seeing Lucky perform as it started raining. The rain was unfortunate, but it was kind of fire to see Lucky play like Why Not as like just rain started coming down and the crowd was just losing their shit. I saw a little bit of Cardi. I'll be honest, Cardi's crowd is very intense, not my type of crowd, but I was watching from the back. I was enjoying it.
That was safe.
No, definitely safe. Yeah, those are some of my favorites. But Dirk in Chicago, like, was my number one. Like, you can't beat that.
Because he was supposed to perform last year, right?
No, he was our special guest 2 years ago.
Got you.
So he was our special guest 2 years ago, and then he performed last night. And what's crazy is he performed last night, and he was actually 30 minutes late to the set, which is like kind of like nerve-wracking in a sense, because like you never know when someone tells you like, "Yo, I'm up the street." It's like, Are you 2 minutes away? Are you 25 minutes
definitely
away?
be doing
We're
that.
already 20 minutes past your set time. We have a big crowd of like kids just anxiously waiting. But pulled up in a blue Lambo, just like
That's hard. That's tough.
not as hard as the blacked out hearse, but you know, it was fire. It was fire.
That was one thing with Glow. I'm mad
I miss her.
I saw Glow.
Yeah.
She snapped when she got on the stage,
Yeah.
but she would like low key was like 45 minutes late.
Was she?
At least 45 minutes late.
Speaking of Glow, another one that I saw that was really, really great was Yachty. Yachty replaced Ice Spice this year, and like he always has the most legendary like Summer Smash like walkout or like video moments, and he had a really great one again this year. Where like they do the thing where they pass out all the water to everyone. It's like the waiting game song, and then he plays this one specific song. Right here, little cut. The clip will play. Riley will post a clip, but it's so fire. Like he always has the greatest Summer Smash moments.
I saw him one time. I saw Yachty back in 2017, like when he was first coming on the scene. It was Yachty, Designer, and I want to say 2 Chainz.
Crazy show.
It was Michigan for, I think it was like the Icebreaker or something like that. I think it was around Easter time. Me and one of my boys went up there. We saw him, and I'm like, it was still Yachty. He only performed like 2 or 3 songs. That's really all he had. But like now, bro, he probably goes crazy. I haven't seen him since.
Yeah. This is a random question, but I know like a lot of college towns will be like destinations for like touring artists. Is South Bend like that
Man,
at all?
no. And it pisses me off, honestly. The only person that I've seen there was, no disrespect to him, but Made in Toyo. That was probably one of the worst experiences I've ever been to. It was in like, so we.
No disrespect to him.
No disrespect to him, but that was one of the worst
bro.
performances I've been to, man. Just the environment. Notre Dame, that's not the crowd.
Yeah, we got love for Made in Tokyo over here, but
Well, like, bro, we were in a space where people take their tests at. Like this is like it was like it looks. If you go to Notre Dame, it looks like a big like golf ball. It's I forgot the name of the building, but it's at the edge of campus. It's right by the rugby fields over there, and it was probably, I kid you not, maybe 200 kids there. And it was put on real last minute because Gold Link was supposed to be the guy who came. Everybody hyped about Gold Link, but Gold Link didn't want to come because Notre Dame wouldn't allow him to smoke on campus. So he bailed at the last minute. So all you have is Made in Toyo, and he had a couple of songs, but I'm like, this ain't it. And then to open up for it was a bunch of students, just whoever knew how to play the instrument got up there and played. So I'm like, it was more so Notre Dame's fault. And it was crazy. I was actually on the committee for that. And so I was like,
so you were the promoter.
I wasn't promoting it, but I was on the committee.
Hey, I will say 2 things that's whack that they didn't let Gold Link smoke or whatever. I know Made in Tokyo was smoking on Notre Dame's campus. Like, there's no chance he wasn't. Absolutely no chance.
They just wouldn't provide him the.
So there's no venues in South Bend. Like, is there country artists that perform in there?
Yeah.
Like,
So big name country artists like what's Buddy's name?
well, you're just talking about in the stadium, right?
Yeah, in the stadium. Like they brought
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks, man. Yeah, I'm like, in my opinion, they didn't do enough for us as students. The biggest name that they brought was Chainsmokers. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
I actually did not go because I'm like, it's Chainsmokers. But like that night, I wanted to see the opening of Black Panther. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch this movie. I really don't listen to Chainsmokers like that. And then right after that, all I was playing was Chainsmokers. I'm like, I wish I would actually went.
Well, maybe that's something you and Sean try in the future. Maybe you see this gap in South Bend. Maybe you guys open a music venue. You bring some cool artists through there. Make some money that way. And you bring some more, culture to South Bend.
Bring in the thief.
We need to find someone who has artist connections first to help, help us get some artists there, because not really our field, but
probably get you some emails, reach out.
Yeah. Team Tripling, we could get him for sure.
Definitely.
I'll be the first one to email out to his personal contact.
Jake Marco, good dude. Anyways, all right.
We gotta take a break. Hold on. Yo, Henry.
Henry's not here.
Henry.
He put a little more bass in his voice.
Yeah, facts. Teddy's locked out.
Completely off.
Tell him to be quiet too.
But you gotta put something in the
Best concert I've ever been
stair
to.
door.
Coldplay?
Coldplay here last year. Soldier
Field? Oh man.
Bro, I almost cried. Like,
Yeah?
legit, I love Coldplay.
I
Like,
saw Elton John at Soldier Field last year, and I'm not even a huge Elton John fan. I swear to you, the energy in that building, bro, I wanted to shed a tear.
You
I was
feel
like,
me?
it was his last show on his farewell tour.
Ooh.
And bro, like there was old ladies, 80-year-old ladies in that bitch, dressed up like head to toe in like crazy Elton John gear.
Yes.
Like I felt like I was witnessing history. It felt really cool.
and for me, like Coldplay is like it's Coldplay, Kanye, Uzi. Like those are my top 3.
Yeah.
And the only people I really like I have to see before I die. So I got 2 of those. But going to that, you know, because I bought the tickets for graduation. Like after graduation, I'm like, this is my gift to myself. Bought tickets, took me and my aunt. I'm like, because nobody else will go with me. So I'm like, F it. She lives in Evanston. Like, hey, will you come with me? She's like, yeah, I'm gonna come. Man, probably one of the greatest experiences. And then saw Cuddy at the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah. Yes.
I mean, we lost,
Yeah.
but he was one of the performers. It was Nelly. It was Nelly and Kid Cudi.
Hey, don't disrespect Nelly, bro.
I'm
He's
not
got
disrespecting.
hits.
Listen, he's got
hits.
hits. But here's the thing: we had just lost the Super Bowl. It was literally 2
You weren't
hours
trying to
after.
ride with me.
I wasn't trying to. Like, if we would have won, I would have been feeling Nelly. But to see Cudi, and then I went on stage with him.
Yeah.
Like, I dapped him on and everything. I was like, yeah. Like, I got a video of me shaking his hand.
That's
So,
so
like, for
fire.
me, that was like my little kid dream coming out right there.
We'll talk about the Super Bowl in a minute. NFL draft, combine, all that stuff. You want to go into that, or what do you want to do next?
Nah, I mean,
It's up to you.
nah.
First, sorry. How are we looking on battery? Just so we don't run into that issue. As long as we're looking good, I don't want to have a bar.
I gotta facts. I gotta try one. I haven't been to like
Cool.
So I usually listen to like I guess the best thing that I've probably been. Well, I went to Coachella, so that I guess that's like the most that I've you know crossed over into a different like genre. So I saw like Zed, Fire, Khalid,
Yeah.
amazing.
Crazy thing about him, I saw him on his first ever, his first tour, his first location was in Detroit in a basement of a bar.
Wow.
Tickets were $15. It probably was no more than 100 people there, and I was there.
You ever been to that venue in Detroit called El Club? Terrible venue. Sorry, yeah, my bad. My bad.
I thought you were about to gas it up.
Nah, it was awful.
But like someone like Martin Garrix,
Yeah.
he's unreal. But I haven't been to like an artist like an Elton John. I need to.
That was my first time seeing someone like that. But
I need to start tapping into more stuff like that.
Yeah. Now those type of shows like that you like even Taylor Swift was just at Soldier Field. I am not a Taylor Swift fan, but like bro, she performed on a Friday. Monday through Thursday, there was hour-long lines to wait in line to get her merch. Like bro, like her fans are a different type of breed. Like can you imagine your show's in 4 days and there's a 2-hour line to get your merch outside the show?
I heard she went 3 hours straight. Like she took a break.
I believe it.
4 hours?
No, she did 3 hours straight, 3 nights in a row.
Didn't stop?
I think she stops to like change her outfit, but that's it, and then she's back on.
No, that's crazy.
She did 3 nights.
She got hits, though.
Bro,
And I heard like she always plays 2 new songs every show or something.
Okay.
So like one show, so like a song that she hasn't played in previous shows, she'll break out like 2 new songs, which she's on a full tour. So if she's not playing 2 songs at a like that she hasn't played before, she has so many hits.
Yes.
But then again, some people kind of get sad because they don't hear the one song that they really want to hear. Because Cudi skipped one song because I think due to time.
which one?
I think it was Day and Night. I was salty. I didn't hear
You
Day
might
and
be
Night.
right.
So he was like I got 2 songs left, but due to time, I think I'm gonna. Did he play Day and Night?
We talked about this
Did he?
content thing.
Maybe I missed it. I Miss You Too.
No.
But it was a song before Pursuit of Happiness, so I know it had to be fire. I think I was a little late to Cudi because I went to Harold's, grabbed some shit.
Hey, did you peep the food lineup?
Oh, it's crazy.
Bro, we had like I feel so strongly about our food team this year. We had like Michelin star like
Yes.
food tents over there.
Yes.
Like Kasama, Soul Taco, all sorts of shit. What?
So I went to Harold, so I probably missed Day and Night, but I didn't get to hear Day and Night, so I thought he didn't play it, but
Damn.
it's cool. It's cool tapping into like or being able to go to festivals now because I feel like at Notre Dame, I went to Coachella once,
Yeah.
and that was like literally by luck, and then now kind of not playing anymore. I get to do cool stuff. I mean, I think I'd still rather be playing, but I think that's like the bonus of not playing is like having more free time to take a trip or go to a festival or, you know, do
just
some
the luxury
things.
of actually being able to do what you want to do.
True. But we could go back into football a little bit. You touched on the Super Bowl. Nelly, you know. I feel Nelly's coming to Cleveland, and I've actually looked at that lineup, and I was like, dude, I actually might go see Nelly. Like, I think he could be fired.
Bro, Nelly has hits. You know what was crazy about Nelly? Sorry to, like, change this topic a little bit. Bro, so Nelly came out in the early 2000s, a day and age where, like, Google and the internet wasn't as, like, relevant. Bro, he lied about his age when he was coming out. So I don't remember the exact number, so forgive me if I'm a year or two off. But he was, like, 27 or 28. And when he came out, he was telling everyone he was, like, 20 or 21. So he was, like, a significant age gap older than he was. So, like, that's, like, if you go to Google and type in, like, Nelly age, like, it's, like, a mystery to this day. Like, I think they locked it down now, but, like, they caught him. In, like, 2011, they caught him, like, wait, you're not 29, you're 37? Like, it was one of those type of things.
That's actually pretty crazy.
Crazy times, like, back then. You couldn't Google something and, like, figure that out. What year were you guys born?
98.
97.
I was 96.
Okay.
Different times, man.
90 babies.
99.
Okay.
Look at us.
Boom, boom, boom.
Look at us, man.
Yeah,
All here in this room.
I'm glad you don't have the 1998 tattoo. I hate those.
Nah, I can't do it.
I hate those. You ever see those?
No.
Like the people get their birth. I don't mind the 1990s. I mean, like it's I wouldn't get it, but when I see a person who has like 2000 or 2001, I'm like, come on now, like
Yeah.
You,
Don't hate on the year they were born, bro.
no, it's kind of weird. It's weird seeing it.
It is weird seeing
It's
it.
like seeing someone born like.
But it means something to them, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
All right. Not so much Nelly, but just overall, the experience of playing in a Super Bowl. What was that like?
Experience of playing the Super Bowl, man. I downplayed it the whole week. Like once we beat, well, we had the overtime win in Kansas City to put us in the Super Bowl. Like we won. I was just happy we won just in the fashion we did. You know, off of the late field goal or not. So I was like, okay, bet. Like we won. In my head, I'm like, we're going to Super Bowl. You know, I had to just literally pause. I was on the field. We got all our T-shirts, caps. Everybody's screaming, you know, taking pictures. And I just stopped. And I was like, wait, like, I'm about to go play in the Super Bowl. So I almost started crying then. So then I went in the locker room. My dad was at the game. I think my little sister was at the game. I think I had some more people. I can't remember. But my dad FaceTimed me. And I had the trophy with me. Dude started crying. I'm like, why are you crying? Like, I just won. But the week leading up to the Super Bowl, we went out. So the day before we went out, there was a big, what do you call it?
Send-off or something?
A big send-off, yes, in the stadium. And we probably had 30,000 people there. Like it was, but it like I think I think Cincy's stadium capacity is like 67, so like half the stadium was full, but like, it was obviously on one side, but it was amazing, man. Like we all came out there, the white Nike Tech fits, the clean everybody got brand new Forces, fireworks, all this stuff, man. The energy was crazy, but like once I got to LA, it was so much stuff going on, so many people pulling in so many different directions. It was kind of hard. I wouldn't say it was hard for me to stay focused, but I can see how it would be hard to kind of slip off. But the whole week, people were just like, you know, how do you feel about playing Super Bowl? I'm just like, it's just another game, man. I'm like, you know, I'm just trying to keep in that mindset, just to stay focused so I don't get like overhype myself up. So the whole week, like I said, I was downplaying it. And even riding into the Super Bowl, like on the bus, police escort, seeing the stadium, okay, this is cool, like playing the Super Bowl. But going out there in my shorts and T-shirt before the game, just, you know, get my normal activation in, and looking up and just seeing all the signs, like Super Bowl, and all the reporters on the sign, the celebrities, I cried then. I'm like, I made it. Like, my childhood dream, I wrote a book when I was in 3rd grade about how I was going to play in Super Bowl 60. Like, I can fact check it. Like, you can literally, like, I can show you the book. I was going to play Super Bowl 60 and win MVP and play with my friends. And so for me to play in Super Bowl 56, for me to have that kind of outlook on life at that young age and to actually get there, I was like, this is literally a dream come true. But to actually play in it, man, that was crazy. It was crazy. That was probably it is the biggest stage I ever played on.
I've heard that Super Bowl crowds are a lot different than like a regular game. Can you speak to that?
They were way more chill. I'd say that because tickets are so expensive. You're not going to get your normal rowdy fans because beyond they can't like people can't afford them. You know, I was like, if I wasn't playing, like I'm not going to that game. Wow. Dudes are selling tickets for $8,000.
Nah,
like
crazy.
normal people can't afford that, and so it is a little bit more calm, but still, just the energy it was crazy. We actually had more fans there than LA did, so it was pretty cool. It was almost like a home game for us.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we were in LA, in their home stadium, we had our fans there, so it felt like a home game. It was really exciting, and really, it was a good environment to be in. I had my entire family there, brothers, sisters, everybody was there.
Yeah.
And so to have them there, it was a great experience. It's something I'll never forget, and they'll probably never forget as well.
What was that season like? Because you got Jamar, he was his rookie season, right?
Rookie season, yeah.
You got Burrow coming off the injury.
Yeah.
Defense was pretty stacked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bates, Hubbard.
Yep.
Like good defense. Shout out Eli Apple.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a
people
good,
people low key be dogging Eli,
that's
but like
my boy.
he played the hardest, like one or two hardest positions on the field and guarding, the best athlete on the field most of the time. So. Shout out to I'm gonna give some credit to Eli Apple, but y'all had him, obviously on the outside. I love Mike Hilton's game. I thought he was a beast.
Similar.
Yeah, that's why I like his game a lot. But stacked team, receiver core ridiculous, running back ridiculous. But what was that that season like? Because that was was that the first time in Bengals history?
Well, go Super Bowl?
Yeah.
No, so we actually went to the Super Bowl back in the 80s against those 49ers teams. The last time we played the Super Bowl was against the 49ers.
It was like the playoff win, though. It was something crazy.
Oh, it was the first time us winning a playoff game in, I want to say, like 30 years. It was something crazy.
Yeah.
And so, like, we've been, but we haven't been able to win. So when we won it, like, the city erupted. But that season, I'll speak at least just from my perspective, it was a lot of ups and downs for me because I was coming off my rookie year. I didn't do as well as I wanted to. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Because I had just came off a shoulder injury coming out of college. So I rehabbed, played my rookie year, but didn't really feel as like successful as I wanted to be. So that whole offseason I was training, like I was grinding, doing everything I could to get back right. OTAs, I was killing it. Camp, I was killing it. There's the right reports about me, most improved player, blah, blah, blah. Coach is like, we got Trey Henderson and Sam Hubbard. They both got paid. So I knew I wasn't going to play over them. Like, it's just basic knowledge. But they're like, whoever goes down, like, you're next man in. Like, a lot of, I won't say pressure, but, like, everyone's like, hey, like, we're going to need you. So I'm like, all right, bet. And so I tweaked my left shoulder, the one I had got surgery on coming out of college, tweaked that in camp. So they sat me for the first 2 preseason games. So the last one, they're like, hey, we want to just get you back out there so you can get warmed up for the season. You're probably not going to play as much, but, just want to get you out there. I'm like, all right, bet. First play of the game, almost had a sack fumble. Quarterback just threw it. Like, I hit his hand, but they called it incomplete pass. Next play, set the edge and forced the tackle bar interior D lineman. Next play, it was a false start. But when I went to stab the tackle, and my shoulder kind of shifted. My right shoulder shifted. I'm like, okay, I feel a little funny, but I'm good. So the next play after that, got a sack, I was hyped, go to the sideline. I'm like, my shoulder feel a little funny. I go out there for the next series, and every play, my shoulder's just getting limp, and, like, I can't even move it. I'm like, something's off. And so by the end of, I think I played 11 plays, and my last play, I couldn't move my right arm. But, like, I was still out there. I couldn't come off the field because third preseason game, preseason, starters aren't playing. They're not even dressed. So, like, you ain't really got guys to come in off the sideline for you. So I'm like, I got to stay out here. And so it was a tight end wing formation. I was in a 9 tech, and I had to knock the tight end back, but I couldn't, so I just used my left arm, and I'm on the left side, which I really should be using my right arm, and the freaking running back was coming towards me. I'm like, I know I can make the tackle, but I can't do it. Bro, I literally just threw off of that arm, and I just threw my body and just made the tackle. And went to the sideline. No. So then we got off the field, and I think they had like a field goal or something. And I'm on kickoff return. I'm the right wing, but my shoulder was it was bothering. At that point, I should not have been playing. And so went to the sideline to go on kickoff return. Coach was like, all right, Lid, like, come on, you ready? I'm like, nah, like, I'm not good. He's like, it's timeout, like, catch your breath. He think I'm tired. I'm like, I'm hurting. So I'm like, all right, like, F it. So I went out there. Luckily, it was a touchback because I don't know what I would have done. I went to the sideline, man. They put me in the tent. They did a test on me. They're like, oh, yeah, you're done. Give me your helmet. And like at that point, cause I tore this one, so I knew what this one had felt. I knew it was torn, and so I instantly just broke out, and started crying. I'm like, I worked so hard to get back to this point. So they're like, calm down. We'll do some MRIs on you. Like, don't even think about the worst right now. Got an MRI, and this is during the game, during halftime. Got the MRI, and normally they let you go back on the field after it. So I'm like, all right, I'm done with the MRI. Like, can I go back out there? They're like, no, like they're not letting you go back out there. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, they told us to specifically tell you to stay in here. Like, you can't leave. Well, it was like, in my 20 years of doing this, they've never told anybody that. I'm like, all right. So in my head, thoughts are going. The doctor comes in there. He's just looking at me. I'm like, bro, just tell me. I said, did I tore it? Did I tear it? And he's like, yeah. He's like, it's torn pretty bad. And I'm like, all right, well, season's over. Talked to the doctor after the game again, the other orthopedic surgeon. He's like, yeah, I looked over it. Yeah, it's torn. Recommend surgery. Going to be out 6 months. You'll be ready by next year. So I'm like, dang. So I had to work so hard to get back. Next day, they call me in like, hey, like, we didn't talk to you. I'm like, what's up? They're like, the radiologist looked at it, and it's just a really bad sprain. I'm like, what? Like, how do you go from telling me, they literally told me it's torn from 12 to 5 on the clock, but like counterclockwise, so it's a pretty big tear, to just a strain. They're like, that's what he saw, we misread it. So I'm like, okay. So I started the season off on IR. It was 7 weeks on IR, but like, bro, like, it's so hard to get back in that rhythm. If you've missed a lot of time, it's so hard to kind of get my feet wet. So I get just thrown into there. Like, my first game back was against New York, against the Jets. One of my first plays, I almost had a sack. But, like, at that point in time, everybody, this is mid-season. Dudes are rolling. Like, teams are going. And I'm still trying to just get
in shape.
Get back in shape.
Get
So
in shape.
I'm not going to lie, bro. I was, like, 260 pounds in the beginning of the year, like before I got hurt. Man, when I came back, I was like 275, 278. So I was just on the sideline. I couldn't do stuff. Like, I was working out, but like I couldn't use my upper body. It really wasn't letting me run, so I put on weight, and I still had to play. And so my production was kind of going up and down. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of people don't know. I got benched at a certain point in time, like some petty stuff, just because I had an MA on a play, so I don't know. They were fed up with me, so they benched me for one game. I got actually benched in the AFC Championship, and I got benched in the Super Bowl. A lot of people don't know that one either. I had 2 MAs, and people who don't know, it's a mental, what do we call MAs? Mental errors. That's an ME, but some people call it MAs. And that hurt my confidence. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm like, dang, like, I'm still trying to, like, I'm giving my all with backtrack a little bit. They said it was sprained. For me, it didn't sit right with me. Because I'm like, y'all didn't give me a contrast MRI. That's when they put the dye in your shoulder to see if there's an actual separation, to see if it's something torn. So before I came back, I told our doctor, I said, hey, I actually spoke up for myself. A lot of people, like, don't know me. I'm not really, like, the most vocal person. I was just trying to go with the flow. I was like, you know what? I need this done. They're like, well, typically we don't do it, but, because you asked, we'll do it. I go get the MRI. They're like, yeah, it's actually torn. I'm like, y'all wasted my time. I'm like, I could have got this surgery done months ago and been on my way to recovery. So my shoulder's actually strong enough to play on. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just play. Just rehab it up and play. It wasn't until I had to play against the Broncos. It was fourth quarter, probably like 3 minutes left in the game. Broncos, they're rolling down the field. They're about to score. And I think if we lose, it just makes it even harder for us to make the playoffs. And Drew Lock, I think it was a zone read. I was on the right side, and I surfed down, and he low-key made a move on me. Like, he cut inside, and I was low-key off balance. All I did, I reached in. I literally took the ball from him, and I ran down. Like, I picked it up, ran, and then I got hit by 3 dudes. I got hit by Drew Lock, a tight end, and then a O-lineman came in.
Oh, my goodness.
Hit me from, and I got a concussion. Dude, tight end hit me in my head. I fall, but I landed on my shoulder. And so I'm on the ground. I'm like, dog, like my shoulder hurt. I'm like, wait, my head hurt. So, but the whole time I'm like, wait, and I dropped the ball too. So I'm like, wait, did I lose the ball? And I was like, yes. But turns out I was actually down by contact when I first picked it up, so I was good.
Okay.
But once I landed on my shoulder was never right again. And so then I played in the Super Bowl with a torn labrum. So like I said, like right after the Super Bowl, got surgery, put 12 anchors in it. They said it was the worst shoulder tear since Drew Brees tore his.
Oh.
And so
That was decade, like.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I had the same certainty. He's like, this is the worst one I've seen since Drew Brees. He's like, I've been doing this a long time, so I don't know how you played. I said, you know what? I sucked it up. Well, I'm not a person that takes Toradol, stuff like that, so
Yeah.
I was literally just going off there off just pure grit, one of the traits. So
Yes, sir. One of the Notre Dame traits.
yeah,
Crazy.
That's
So-
kind of wild.
so it was a wild year for me, but crazy season though. Back to your actual question, like it was a lot of up and downs. Like people had a lot of doubt on us, like because Joe was coming off his major knee injury. Yeah. We had Jamar. The first game that we kind of came on pretty hot. I think we either played the Packers or the Vikings. I think we might have won that one, but it was a lot of ups and downs. And then at a certain point in the season, I think we were like 7-8, so like kind of like that midway point. Like okay,
Yeah.
like no, not even 7-8. It was like maybe like it was something where it was like damn near 500. And so we're like, all right, like we're at the point like we gotta either put up or shut up. And so we kind of just made it back like, hey, we still gonna achieve what we want to do, but we're gonna have to work for it. So I think we lost our last game against, I want to say either San Fran or LA, the Chargers. I think it was LA. And we're like, we're not losing again. And we did not lose from that point on. You know what? I take that back. We lost to Cleveland.
In Cleveland?
In Cleveland, week 17. But that was after we had already clinched the playoffs against Kansas City. And coincidentally, our starters got COVID. And so none of the starters played the next game. And so we actually went up to Cleveland and actually only lost by like 6 points, like with all our 2s or 3s and practice squad guys. So everybody, that was my first start. I actually snapped. I was the highest rated player on that whole entire team according to PFF. So I kind of hang my hat on that one. But we were rolling. At that point, we're like, you know what? Everybody, record is 0-0. Like, let's go do what we want to do. And people, we had a hard game against Vegas in Cincy. That was the first playoff game we actually ever won. Mm-hmm. Crazy thing about that, we went into that game with, I think, 9 D linemen, and we finished with 5. Dudes got hurt, and, I think Mike Daniels messed up his back. Trey Henderson got a concussion. Larry Ogunjobi, I think he fractured his foot, so, we were down bad. So, we play a 5-man front. Actually, we finished with 6. We have a 5-man front, and then a 4-man front. So, there was only, at a certain time, there was only one person on the sideline. So nobody's getting a break, so you just have to go.
Yeah.
So that was a really difficult one. Then we won the overtime game in Tennessee, another overtime game in KC, and then we made the Super Bowl.
Man, and now you see the Bengals as one of the top teams in the league. Exactly. But it's funny how you see it happened with the Bills. Bills were trash,
Oh, yeah.
and then they flipped some Josh Allen or whatever. But you flip the switch, and it's the quarterback.
That's it.
Yeah. It really be the quarterback. The Jets, they might be tough this year. The Browns too.
Hey, watch out for the Colts, man.
The Bears. Wait, I didn't get there yet. The Bears.
Yeah,
the Bears.
Justin Fields is actually at the festival on Saturday.
Was he?
Bro,
Wow.
that was one of the first times. Cause I don't really get fanned out over anyone. I was sitting there damn, bro, that's Justin Fields. What was I gonna say? Hey,
The Colts. Hold on, we gotta bring up the Colts.
Yeah.
Y'all just got a fire quarterback. Yep.
You played when it was during COVID.
Yeah.
Right? What was that like to play in stadiums? Was it no fans or was it limited fans or how were they running that?
So it depended where you play, what state you were in, because every state had different COVID regulations.
Yeah.
So my first NFL game was in Cincinnati against the LA Chargers. There were 0 fans in that stadium.
That's so
not
weird.
a soul. So the whole week, you're prepping for the game like normal. You get there, they do the tunnel picks, walk down your fit, whatever. I'm like, okay. So we walk out there for pregame stretch, and they're playing artificial sound, and I walk out there, I'm like, where the fans at?
Yeah.
And at the other end of the field, it's the Chargers warming up. I'm like, oh shoot, we're actually about to play. It felt so weird. It still went on smooth, but playing with 0 fans, that was probably one of the most awkward and strange things I've ever done.
Could you hear the other sideline
It was clear as day. So the thing we used to do, well, I think most teams did, you could literally hear their snap count and their cadence. So, like, you'd have, like, there's days in the week, I think ours was, like, Friday, we'd go over the other team's cadence. Like, hey, like, you could hear it clear as day talking. Like, this is what they're going to do when they say this. Like, when it's on 2, they say this. When it's on 1, silent count. Like, it's easy. Like, football was definitely crazy, but it was still fun, though. I mean, to be my rookie year, I still enjoyed it.
What a weird time that was.
Notre Dame kind of balled during that time, too.
Did.
Yeah.
COVID year?
I was looking sick.
COVID year, we went crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel like every game, except Boston College. Boston College was the only time that we didn't have fans, but, like, we played a full season. Like, we were blessed. We played a full season.
When y'all beat Clemson, y'all stormed the field like peak COVID.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was wild, but, like, everyone, like, it was crazy that it happened because I remember I had my helmet off, and then everyone stormed the field, and I'm like, give me my helmet, put my helmet back on.
As if that's going to stop anything.
I didn't, like, but because we still had the season to go.
Yeah.
Like, we had Boston College, I think, after that, and then we had the playoffs and stuff, ACC championship, so we still had a season, and, like, you couldn't get COVID from that, but I think everybody was straight, but at that point, like, that was senior night too. That was the seniors, or like that was a students' last game because that year like they ended the semester early, so like that was a students' last home game, and I think they just had bump it and just ran on the field, but ridiculous times.
Yeah,
that was the one game I was supposed to go back for. Like, that was my bye week in Cincy. So in the NFL, like on the bye weeks, every day you had to get COVID tested, like every single day, and if you miss a day, it's a positive test, and if you're positive, you're not playing that week. So even on our bye week, when guys usually go vacation, spend time with their family, you had to stay in your home, in your playing state, and you just get tested. You just do something in the city. Man, I stayed home the entire time.
Damn. Hey, when you were in Cincy, you ever eat that, what do they call that shit? Skyline chili?
No,
Come on, bro. You never tried it?
I refuse.
It looks disgusting.
It like somebody took a dump on the plate.
It looks disgusting.
I'll tell you, bro. People in Cincinnati, they ride for their chili, man.
You know what I'm talking about?
I've never had it though.
It's Gold Star and it's Skyline, and people battle like, no, bro, it's Gold Star. I eat Skyline. I'm like, I don't know how y'all eat that in general.
You ever had the Cincinnati Glizzies?
That just sounds gross.
I mean, I am a glizzy man. I love hot dogs, man.
Oh, come on, bro.
That's the only reason why
I ain't gonna lie to
knew
you.
that.
My mom bought me a hot dog maker for my birthday. Like,
A hot dog maker?
so it's this big,
a
big
grill.
contraption. It cooks the hot dogs and it steams the buns. And so like it has a sliding door. And you can,
Okay. When you said hot dog maker, I thought you meant like from scratch. Like
no.
Okay.
No. But like that's probably one of my most prized possessions. I love hot dogs, but
Damn.
I had a few in Cincy, but Portillo's though, I ain't gonna lie, that is my spot. Once they got one in South Bend, I was confident.
We had them at the festival. We did a lyrical Portillo's collab T-shirt. I wore it yesterday. It's so hard.
You know what was you posted on your story the who's Pop-Tart?
Uzi
Pop. Yeah, I didn't get to have it, but I saw it. I saw it. Yeah, it sounded like Paul's good, but I didn't get to try it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do. All right, last thing maybe.
Go ahead.
I feel like we've been talking for a minute.
An hour and 21 minutes.
Right. I do want to touch, and this is kind of a serious topic, but I want to touch on like the mental health and just like the mental struggle. You talk about going through injuries. Obviously went through injuries as well, but you also talk about, Joe coming off an injury and being able to play through that. Guys getting hurt, mid-season. You getting hurt preseason, but playing through it, and then obviously having to find out, bad news at the end of the season. So any football player knows like the healthiest you're going to be is like day one of camp. Literally. And from that time it's over with. You got a nick, you got a bruise somewhere on your body. Yeah. So, but like obviously like, you talk about going to the Super Bowl, having a Super Bowl, season, but that season for you was up and down. That season for you was a bunch of trials, a bunch of struggle, a bunch of adversity. Yeah. So kind of touch on just, some of the struggles that you may personally go through, how you like cope with it, how you, battle it, but then also maybe some assistance that the NFL may provide or, Notre Dame provide or something like that.
I feel like my mental, even dating back in college, my senior year, I was just kind of going through a lot, just the pressures of the success that I was having, and then knowing I was going to the league, like a lot of that was just weighing on me. So I used to see my therapist, Nikki Sims. That was my dog. I saw her every Thursday of my senior year before every game, like just just to talk. I may not even have issues, but just to whatever was on my mind that week, just get it off so I can go play and just be perfectly fine. The league, they do a similar thing, but I really didn't mesh too well with our therapist. But they do have access to therapists and like call lines, stuff like that. So they do a lot of good stuff for us. But after my second year, after the Super Bowl run, when I was getting surgery, it was my second time getting surgery, I was just like, I was really defeated. I was really like, do I even want to play football again? I was so tired of just getting hurt. Cause even my junior year, I had 2 ankle sprains, like back to back. I was just hurt the whole time. I'm so tired of feeling like this. Like, I reached the pinnacle of football. I reached the Super Bowl. Like, there's nothing else to do, like, in a team sport in football than to play in the Super Bowl. Obviously, we didn't win. But I was like, I still made it. Like, a lot of people who played in the league, some 10, 13-year vets have never been to the Super Bowl. I'm like, I did it my second year. I'm like, I have nothing to hang my hat on. So I'm like, I can retire right now and be fine. But it took probably a full year to truly understand who I was and what I wanted to get out of it. So I again found my passion in football again, found the love, because being hurt takes it out of you. Because it's just so much stuff you got to deal with, the recovery process, trying to get back in shape, just trying to find that rhythm again. And my shoulders are never the same. Like, one of my shoulders, I have arthritis in it and all that already. So I struggled with that, and then to come back off of that shoulder surgery into my year 3, and then my first game back, I tear my hamstring almost off the bone. I'm like, I'm getting punches left and right, and then once I tore my hamstring, I got put on IR again. And then after I got on IR, Cincinnati actually waived me and put me on P squad, and so that was really trying for me. But it kind of brought me back down to reality. Like, you got too comfortable. Like, you were just happy with being here. Like, that drive of always wanting to be the best, wanting to be the starter. Like, I was just okay with the position I was in. So actually being waived was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. It lit a new flame underneath me, and just went out and competed every day. Didn't get a chance to actually play for Cincinnati last year, like I actually wanted to, but was grateful enough for Indianapolis to pick me up mid-season, and I was actually able to go out there and play, and actually wanted to sign me back. So I'm there now, and so really happy. But it was for me, it was a lot of trial and error, just trying to get back into that good, clear mental space, honestly. But talking to people definitely helped for me.
How's the organization in Indianapolis? Because I heard it's like a real family-oriented, real close-knit,
it is
good community around you.
It's a really great organization. And the one thing that they actually preach is mental health. Huge advocates on that, so I actually really do appreciate that. They actually have a therapist in-house. She's always around at meals. Like, she's just sitting there, nice lady. She's like, hey, if you ever need me, just talk to me. We all have her number, and so I do appreciate that aspect. And like you said, it's a huge family aspect. The owner, his daughters they're literally in our meetings, sitting there learning the plays on the sidelines. She literally has a headset on during the games on the sideline, walking around with a play script, going through it. So I love it there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I love Jim Irsay, bro. He's from Chicagoland area. Actually, the Indianapolis Colts' first facility was in Evanston. It was either Evanston or Skokie.
Okay.
But it's still standing to this day. It's just this random building that just says Colts on the outside.
Oh, wow.
I have a random question for both of you guys. I know we're trying to wrap up soon. During the combine, I've always heard that they ask people some crazy questions. Did you guys get asked anything crazy during that process?
I'll start because mine's quick. No, because it was COVID when I came out, so we didn't have combine or anything.
Okay.
Mine was low-key, mine was normal, and then COVID hit, so everything really shifted. And actually, my combine was a little different because I was just coming off of shoulder surgery, so I was in a sling still, so I didn't get to run, didn't get to do anything. I was just there for interviews. But I didn't get actually really a weird question, but for me, the guy was like, "So when's the last time you smoked?" I was like. And if anyone knows, I don't touch weed. I've never drank, never smoked. Yeah. I'm like, never. He's like, nah, just be real with me, bro. When's the last time you picked up a blunt and smoked? I said, bro, never. And he kept pressing me. I'm like, bro, quit act I never smoked. I know people go there and lie, but I'm like, I have nothing to lie about. I told him, I said, you can put me on a lie detector test right now. I've never smoked. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, bro, leave me alone.
Man, that's ridiculous.
Never, huh?
Never touched.
That's crazy.
Even in college, never drank. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously going to Notre Dame was always around alcohol, but never touched it.
I appreciate people like that. I'm buddies with Sam Morrison, and his little brother is Benjamin Morrison on the team right now. But they're the same. Like, their family, like, Sam's probably my age, 26, 27, never drank, never smoked. Like, just, I enjoy people like that. I feel like it's very pure.
Yeah.
I love people like that who can go out and then also have a good time too. Like you
Yeah,
wouldn't,
facts.
you
Like,
wouldn't
they're
even know
great
it.
energy regardless.
Always good
Yeah.
energy. Always good energy.
And I like to gas with my friends. Like when they get lit, I just gas them. I'm there to make sure things go right. Everybody gets home safe. I'm not like the dad of the group. Like I have fun, but at the end of the night, like if some stuff pop off, like I'm gonna be like right there front and center, making sure everybody's all right. Though.
Yeah.
So like I guess that's why I do it too, but it's not like the main thought.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on something else. I want to touch on Legos before we get done.
Yeah.
Was there anything else on you wanted?
Bro, I feel like I hit on everything I was
We
really
talked about
curious
music, ocean, swimming, tattoo. You're an artist. You paint.
Yeah.
Peace Squad, Detroit, Bam. We talked about everything.
Yeah.
So we could talk about like free time.
Yeah.
But
I can hit the Legos. I can do that.
yeah, kind of combine. We'll combine like Legos and painting. So I'll just ask you like what you do in your free time.
Okay.
But that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about like you talked about the mental health and you talked about the ups and downs. But you seem like when you get in the off season, like you get rid of football and like that's the time like you really thrive. Obviously, scuba diving, getting tattoos, anything like that. But also hanging with family. But what else in in your free time do you enjoy doing?
In my free time, the thing I probably do the most is build Legos. I love Legos. I have a crazy passion for that. I really don't know where that came from. Like as a kid, I mean, you get free time in class, like I just pick up some Legos and build. And there was a time I was walking through the student center in Notre Dame. It was my senior year. I saw them doing Legos. And like I got excited. I'm like, oh shoot, y'all got Legos? They're like, yeah, we got a Lego club. I'm like, can I sign up? And they're like, yeah, put your email down right here. I'm like, all right, bet. And I put my email down. I never got nothing back from them. I think they thought I was like BSing them, but like, I was real. Like I really like build Legos. So once I got to the league, like Legos is like my decompression time. Like I'll go to my living room and just build for like 3 hours. Like don't talk to me, get my music going, and just sit there and build. And so I got a Lego chain made of me, a Lego scuba diver, Notre Dame player, kind of me in one. But that's probably like the thing I love to do. I'm probably my most impressive builds. I have a life-size bust of Darth Vader. I have the Millennium Falcon. It's like 7,500 pieces. Haven't built the Titanic yet. I have it. I bought it. It's sitting in my Lego room now. Like I just moved to a new house, so I have a Lego in the art room. I'll touch on the art in a minute. But the Lego, probably my best builds are the life-size bust of Darth Vader and the Millennium Falcon. I do have a Death Star I'm about to build. It's a, what do you call it when they stop making something? Discontinued. They discontinued the set, like, I want to say like 10 years ago, and I bought one. It was like $1,100 though. I bought it, and so like it's sitting in the box, like never been opened, like still like the OG stuff. So I'm waiting to build that one. But as far as art, I was actually an art minor at Notre Dame. A lot of people I actually played with didn't know that. I think it was one time I had one of my art pieces just in the art building. Somebody walked past like, dang, Lid, you got people painting you. I'm like, no, like that. I actually did. Like, that's mine. And so my senior project was so my senior year, I set myself for success. Leading up, so every semester I was taking 18 and 17 credits. I was taking 6 credits every summer. I'm like, I just want to be able to be done. So like when my senior year comes around, I want to be just focused on football. And so my last semester, I had 2 credits left, like legit 2 credits, and it was elective. I actually finished my major requirements in 3 years. And so senior year rolled around, I was like, you know what? Let me do another art class. I already did my previous 5 that I needed to do. I was like, what's another one? So I did an independent study. Took 6 months to design the piece that I wanted to do. It was basically a big project by myself. It's a 48 by 60 piece of myself that I did. It's literally me playing, like me celebrating after a sack against Pitt in the middle, and then all the things that makes me me. Like there's a pattern on the right side. It's a scarf that my mom used to wear. Like she still wears to this day. Like she got it before I was born, but still wears it. And there's a pattern on the left side of a tie that my dad gave me when I went to Notre Dame, and a bunch of different characters. I have like Otto from Rocket Power. I got Max Goof because I love him in the Goofy movie. I got Squidward. I got my Little League team, and then I got the first painting I actually did, Andy Mouse. It's a painting by Keith Haring, and so I felt like I needed to throw that on there. So, yeah, that's a little bit more artistic side.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're a fascinating person.
Yeah, facts.
Appreciate
Facts. I played with you for 4 years and didn't even know all this. This is crazy.
No, crazy.
Yeah.
Last question. What's your favorite SpongeBob episode?
Favorite SpongeBob episode has to be the Super Bowl performance when they sing in the stadium.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
he go
That's
crazy.
one.
He go
Yes.
crazy.
That's mine too.
Yes.
Do you have one?
I don't like. I mean, I watched SpongeBob when I was a kid, but
Just
like,
stop.
I don't remember like episodes. Like, oh yeah, that was my favorite one. But the Super Bowl the Super Bowl one is fire. Like,
Yeah.
and then is Goofy Goober? That's the movie, right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
the movie.
Goofy Goober. I love that song. So
Yeah.
I rock. I'll say the movie. Probably cliche, but
Okay.
what's yours?
Same one. Super Bowl halftime show. That's
Yeah.
all time classic.
Well, I appreciate you coming in today. I know we
Appreciate
kept you a little long, but
All good.
I thought it was a great conversation. Again, like my brother from Notre Dame, doing well in the league, on the Indianapolis Colts now. You know, excited to watch you have a healthy season, full season. So we definitely y'all gonna be people watching for the Colts. You know,
Gotta watch it. Yeah.
it's gonna be fun. But if you don't, shout out yourself, like your Instagram, all that
Instagram,
stuff.
Liddy again, LIDDY__ again. Follow me.
Hey, but if you follow along, you know we kind of took a little break with the podcast, but we're back with them. We did some events, we did some live podcasts and meet and greets in Seattle with some of their players. Brought the mascot out, and then we also just had our first football camp in Cleveland, Ohio. Had the mayor come out, had Bernie Kosar come out, some Browns players, some other NFL players. So want to get into more events to connect athletes and community, figure out different experiences, live experiences that are engaging and, you know, educational, fun. So be on the lookout for that as well.